Yesterday, we were discussing a little bit about the outer enemy, outer obstacle, and how to try to work on that. As I already said, because everything from Buddhist point of view is interdependent and dependently arising. We need to, we have to try to work and try to solve the problems on itself too. It's not that sometimes people say that, if you are a spiritual practitioner, then just by your spiritual practice, all your problems are solved and you don't have to do anything and should not do anything, this kind of a thing. That's, I don't think, is the Buddhist way of seeing. We have to try to work on them and try to find the solutions for that, because everything is because of different causes and conditions. And if you find the right kind of method or right kind of a outer solution, it is possible sometimes to clear that also. So therefore, it's not that, if you have if we have certain problems that we only through spiritual things we can solve them. It's not like that, but that doesn't mean that it could not be solved with our spiritual and inner way of doing things also, because, that's also interdependent. So therefore, sometimes we need to work on it from our spiritual or from our inner transformation also, because if we can truly transform from our inner way of reacting, then that's also one condition. How we experience things is very much depend on how my mind works, how I, experience things, how I see things. And so therefore, if my way of feeling and reacting and seeing changes, that could also change for me how I experience things. So therefore, it is not that, the outer situation can never be dealt with our inner transformation. I think this, I don't know if I made it clear. What I'm trying to say is that outer solutions have outer solutions also. Outer problems have outer solutions also, and it's good and it's necessary, and it's sometimes sometimes possible to change through outer transformation also. We have to do that. It's not that, outer solution cannot be done. It's not like that. It should be done. But it's also true that inner solution is sometimes very effective on the outer problems, because if we really can change how we experience things, then even if that problem that's there outside or in the circumstances doesn't stop my way of experiencing changes, and therefore it's transformed. So this is the understanding. So therefore, the inner problem, inner is very strong. The solution from the inner is inner. Inner means sometimes two things. Sometimes we use outer as the, like from the Kala Chakra Tantra point of view. When you talk about outer Kala Chakra, we talk about the universe, the world, the environment, all the kind of, solar system, the galaxies, the whole, environment. That's sometimes called outer Kala Chakra. Inner Kala Chakra, when we say inner Kala Chakra, it means like how our body functions. Our body, the channels, the nadis, the mind, all this, how it forms. The channels means, the way our body, all these elements in the body, to make it concrete. All this, like this, all our cells, for instance, the nervous system, and the flow of our blood in our body, and all the bones and all the kind of structure, all these things, and how this how these elements work. Like our body is made of, sometimes we call it 6 elements. The 4 elements or the 5 elements, like earth element, then water element, fire element, then the air element, and space element. That makes the body. And then the conscious element. So that makes, so these 6 things makes us as a being. And how these kind of these things functions, and how they, how they interdependently work, and when they are in harmony, then we are healthy. And when they are not in harmony, we become sick. And if they are very in harmony, they kind of then we die, you know. So that's how our works. That is usually when we talk about inner, we talk about that. But also many times when we talk about inner things, we talk about, we mean, how our mind and emotions, work, especially like if we, most of our problems, when we talk about, it's okay. When we talk about the Four Noble Truths, we say that, the causes of suffering is kleshas and karma. So there, the klesha and karma is, mind poisons, like negative emotions, our own delusory kind of ignorant or delusion, our delusion, not seeing things clearly. And that's creating our, emotions like hatred or anger or greed or, too much clinging, jealousy, all kind of those things. Then that creates fear and, all kind of negative reactions. And because of that, then we experience and all kind of problems come. So, this is what we call inner most of the time. That the way we react, our thoughts, our emotions, our reactions, our habitual tendencies, so therefore, most of our sufferings, pain, and like anxiety and, stress and fear and, worries and all these things, of course, to do with the way we react. And that affects our experience of things, how we experience things. That could make us sick if we do it in the wrong way too much. It could affect our health. It could affect our way of, experiencing things. It could affect our happiness, and all kind of things. So that's also inner obstacle. And of course, these inner obstacles or inner enemies, eventually could cause outer enemies or outer problems. Because, if you look deeply, for instance, why we have wars. We have wars. Wars is an outer, problem. But we have wars because of our hatred. We have wars because of our greed. We have wars because of our, jealousy, or sometimes misunderstanding and things like that. So, you know, these inner problems can actually create or cause, you know, outer problems in a big way. Therefore, you know, if we really have to transform that, then we need to also look at our inner situation. You know, how we, you know, how we react. You know, how we see things in a positive way or negative way. How we, you know, see each other. How we look at the world around us, how we, you know, look at ourselves, actually, how I see myself. So therefore, you know, if I have a negative way or wrong way of looking at that, then I could create lots of inner problems, emotional problems, reactions, and then that could create habitual tendencies, and that could actually make you know, lots of problems. Like, for instance, you know, when we talk about like karma, when we talk about samsara, that's a creation of our own inner, you know, way of saying things. So therefore, you know, it's very, very important from this point of view, how I see, how I see, how I understand, how I see myself, how I see everything else, how I react to things, you know, and how I work with my emotions. So these are the, you know, the inner. There is a big, you know, relationship of how my life is, how my life runs, or how my life goes, or how I act in the, you know, in the world, in the society, has a lot to do with how I see things, how I see myself, how I react to things. And so therefore, you know, it becomes, from Buddhist point of view, very important that, you know, how I see things. So therefore, you know, there's lots of Dharma teachings is about that, how I see myself and how I see things around me and the world. Because for instance, to make it a very simple, you know, example, if I saw that, you know, I am, you know, all these people, I don't know what they are, you know, they could be something very terrible, somebody I don't know, or, you know, I don't understand them, and, you know, kind of, but I am, you know, I am somebody, you know, very kind of important. Me is the most important thing. All these people, I don't really care, you know. Maybe there's somebody, you know, maybe they have a mind, maybe they don't have a mind, or something like that. If I think, then my way of reacting to the people is very different. Or in another way, if I see that, you know, all these people are exactly like me. They are human beings. Even those who are not human beings are like me, like a being who wants to be, happy, who wants to be loved, who wants to be, have good time or nice things and positive things, and they don't like to be, not loved, not cared for, not, respected. And so we are all similar. So if we see like that, the way I am, the way I act, and now totally changes, no? So therefore, what kind of person I become very much is based on how I see things, how I, understand. And so that's why, to try to see things clearly becomes very, very important. To see things how I, because if I understand in a certain way, then, I don't have to, nobody has to say that you have to be kind and you have to be nice and you have to be compassionate. They don't have to say that. I will, naturally react in that way because that's how I see. If I don't see in that way, then even people have, make like a law or enforcement that you have to be kind and you have to behave well with everybody. I might do it when some policemen are around or, some law is watching, but, otherwise secretly I will do the opposite, So that's why, this, how I see things becomes extremely important. That's why from Buddhist point of view, view is said to be very important. View. View means just how I see things, how I understand, how I see, in every different areas of, my way of saying things. I don't know whether it's, when you say philosophy, philosophy is sometimes becomes very complicated. So, philosophy, in a way, it's a philosophy, actually. But what I personally found, maybe I'm wrong and I didn't understand philosophy too much, but I sometimes feel it becomes only intellectual something, lots of intellectual, and it doesn't seem to, you can be a student of philosophy, but it doesn't really change your way of seeing. You have a very good idea about things, and you can have many questions, and kind of the view is the same thing in a more inner way of experience. That's why I think we usually use the word view. I'm not sure whether that's really exactly the right word or not, but not just an intellectual thing, but the way you actually deeply, experientially feel. That's the view. So that's why in Buddhism, we give lots of importance to that, the way, the view. And because if we have a good view or very kind of a positive view, then, lots of other things, our attitude, our way of reacting, our emotional reaction, all changes and goes after the view, view kind of, what can you say? The view directs our way of feeling and reacting and things like that. So that's why we give lots of importance to study, to study, to listening, to hello? Is it okay? Yeah, okay. Yeah, still you can hear, no? It's, okay, then no problem. So therefore, I think when we talk about the inner obstacle or inner enemy, that is our mainly wrong kind of emotional and view problems, because that creates lots of problems, like enemy or friendship. What is enemy? Actually, I make enemy, no? If I think that this person or those people are my enemy, or they are very bad, they are not good, I want them to have, have bad time, or, I want them to, or I see that they are harming me, or they are obstructing me to get what I want, or, something like that, then I consider them as my enemy. And anything that is happening, and I say that this is not good, it's very bad, this should not happen, and as long as this happens, I will be very upset and unhappy and, very bad. If I say like this, then I see that as an obstacle, no? So when I see these things like that, then I will be upset, I will be angry, I will have hatred, I will feel bad, I want to, do something that is harmful to them, I want to stop their advance, I want to, that I make enemy, with myself. Or I see somebody as my, like, competition. Or somebody is, I see that somebody doesn't like me to succeed or to progress or to have something nice or good thing, then I see them as my enemy. But if I see that I can make friends also. I can say that this person is my friend. Means like then I take that when I see this is my friend, I don't mean to say that this person is perfect. I don't mean to say that this person has no negative things or doesn't do any negativity or any bad thing. I just see this person as somebody whom I want good things for. You know. And some of the actions this person does could also help me, could also sometimes not help me, but this person is dear to me. So I want this person to be so friend. And when I have a friend, what I do, you know, I feel happy to see that. I do something that might be good or helpful, or to that person. And when I do that, that person has to somehow also a little bit respond in that way, because I'm helping, so therefore this person has to also have, I respect, so they have to respect. I give love, so they have to love. I'm helping, so therefore they want to help, they want to. So that's how. And we always can change, I used to tell this story often. I thought this was very significant, because we all can have lots of misunderstanding, and misunderstanding can create negative thoughts, and then create very bad relationships. Yeah. Some of you have heard this story. There was a lady who married somebody, and then she had a mother-in-law, and she didn't like the mother-in-law, and mother-in-law didn't like her. So very bad relationship. Yeah. And it was worse and worse. And then one day she went home to her parents, and there she went to see her very trusted doctor, and she said, can you please give me some poison? I want to poison my mother-in-law. I need to kill her because she's so bad. She's so bad that I cannot live with her. I want to kill her. Then this doctor said, okay, I can give you some poison, but I think you should give a slow poison, because if you just give a poison and she dies, everybody knows your relationship with your mother-in-law is not that good, so they will certainly suspect you, and then they will find out, and then that's not good for you. So I give a very slow poison. Can you act as if you are nice to her for some time? She said, yes, that I can. So she was given some poison, and she said, mix it with her food and every day, little bit, give that. So she went home, and then she gave some poison every day, but she started to be nice. She started to act nice and kind to the mother-in-law. When she started to act kind and nice, the mother-in-law responded. She became also nice and kind. And after some time, the mother-in-law became so nice that she actually felt very good with the mother-in-law. And she also started to actually like her mother-in-law. And their relationship became very good. And then she went back to the doctor and said, can you give some medicine so that, this effect of this poison can be reversed? She says, why? Actually, I found that my mother is not that bad. It was, I had this, wrong view or wrong perception, and I just hated her. And but actually, when you are nice to her, she is very nice, actually, and we are really good now, and there's no problem at all. And I really don't want her to die. So please give some medicine so that she will, all the effects of the poison that I gave can be reversed. He said, are you really sure? You don't want her to die. I said, yeah, of course, I really don't want her to die at all, because she is a really nice lady and I really love her and she loves me and we are very good. Are you sure? I'm very sure. Okay, in that case, then you have no problem, because I really didn't give you a poison. I gave you some kind of a vitamin or something like that, so that she becomes healthier. So no problem. Then you can still keep on giving that poison to her. And it all changed, It's just, different, the way I act and I react, people act and react in a similar way most of the time. So therefore, and many times we don't understand that. Many times we don't see that I have a kind of a not so good attitude. And that's why the other person is reacting to me in that way. We have eyes to see, but it's more difficult to have a mirror to see what I am actually thinking, how I am reacting, how I am, doing towards other people, So therefore, if we can somehow, do that, we can look into our thoughts and emotions and reactions and attitude more. I think many times, it could change. We could change relationship with others, and not only relationship with others, but how I actually experience myself. How I react, how my emotion works. So therefore, this is very important, I think. It's very, very important. So, when we talk about our emotions, like anger is emotion, hatred is emotion, loving kindness is emotion, compassion is emotion, and attachment is an emotion, greed is an emotion, jealousy is emotion. But, there are many, many kind of negative emotions. And if you look a little bit more deeply, the opposite of most of these negative emotions is loving kindness and compassion. That we see other people as not different from ourselves, as almost equal to myself. in many different ways. And see that they all want what I want. They all desire what I desire. They all don't want what I don't want, and if I know that, then I want to be respected. I want to be loved. I want to be treated in a nice way. So there's no reason why I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do that to others also. So that way, when my reaction or my emotion or my way of saying things and my way of changes, then I can change my way of seeing other people and my way of reacting. And that could sometimes actually change everything for me. Because, usually, I see this very often. If I am in a bad mood, if I'm in a negative kind of a mood, bad mood, then I see everything a little bit dark, not so nice, and a little bit, what can you say, dull and gray, and kind of unhappy. Yeah. And the moment I see something good, I see something positive, I see something that my seeing everything not so nice, everybody not so good, everything, lots of kind of, what can you say, in a more negative way, is sometimes changes and see things much positively, Sometimes just because one person becomes kind to me, I can myself feel much positive in the world, much happier, much joyful. This is very, this is very, very true. I feel that, when I was a child, as you know, we had a kind of very difficult situation. No, you know that. I am kind of a refugee from Tibet, and we came and we were chased by army, and we had nothing, and all kind of things. Lots of people died, and I see now, I see later on that there are lots of people who had much less problem than me, become very, what can you say, traumatized and very badly affected emotionally. I think I'm not traumatized. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm traumatized. I was having nightmares. Yes, I had nightmares, like in night, the dreams of like the communist army, is coming with guns and trying to chase us. That kind of nightmares I had till around 40. Till I became around 40. But that after 40, it never went. It completely disappeared. I don't know why at 40. Why 40 is a special year, I don't know. For me, I don't know. But I never had, the kind of psychological trauma or anything like that. I think that's because I don't know, but I was reflecting. I think it's because I had very loving people around me, my parents and other people who were very loving and caring, around me. Although we were in great danger and always, uh, under like shooting and under attacks. Had to travel at night and day, and near-death experiences many times and things like that. But because there was some people who were, loving and kind, that's why I think none of us had this traumatic experience, And I see that everywhere, didn't have that, I think that is very, when I think I talked about this quite often, but I had a, I was somewhere in America and, in the North America. And once I met this a lady. I think I told this story many times also. She was, she had, I think, lost her boyfriend and many things like that. And then she didn't have a job. She said that she was just, driving a kind of a small truck to deliver firewood here and there, because in that area it's very very cold place in winter. So you have to have lots of firewood, and they have to stack firewood, and there's a competition between who has the best stack of wood and things. And one day she told me that she was driving this small kind of a truck, and she went to the gas station, and then she was kind of doing something like baking up or something like that, and there was a very expensive car behind her, and she crashed into that. Now she was totally shocked because she didn't have any insurance. And this car was really expensive, and there was quite damage, and it was her fault. And she didn't know what to do. And she said, what shall we do? What shall we do? Shall I call police? Because I don't have insurance. And an old elderly lady came out of this expensive car and said, don't worry, it's not a big problem. We will find some way to deal with it. You just give me your telephone number, and then let us see how we can do. You just go, no problem. We will somehow solve this problem. So she went, but she was very, very worried. And then in the evening, I think the lady called her and said, I went to a few people, before, there's garages and things like that. But they're asking lots of money. They're asking like a few thousands of dollars. But don't worry, I will still look and find some way to make this, don't worry. And then next day or something like that, she called again and said, now I found another garage that the damages will be repaired with $500. And but don't worry, if you can pay slowly, you pay. If you don't, you can't pay. You don't need to pay. It's okay. I don't mind. You just. So she said that she completely, felt so relieved. And not just relieved, because before she was like, she was almost like depression. She was in a depression because she lost her boyfriend, she lost her job, and she was in a bad situation. She felt very, very low, and she was very depressed, and she was unhappy. Because she just met this one lady through not a very good circumstances, and she was so kind and so nice. She said that all those negative things she had kind of went away like this. And she felt so good and so warm, and she felt that the world is so good, you know. And she said that all her depression just went away, and she was like walking in the air, you know. And then she worked, and then she found a job soon, and then she paid back, and then, you know, she was very happy. And I think it is sometimes like that, you know, how we feel, you know, and how we make others feel is also, you know, like sometimes it's just, you know, how the situation changes. It can be changed, and it can be changed sometimes with, you know, in very strange ways, you know, different ways. So therefore, you know, from Buddhist point of view, we can have lots of problems, so, you know, difficulties and obstacles, but, you know, it can be solved from within. You know, like loving kindness, compassion can actually be a very strong remedy to that. Not only solving our own, like, you know, if I feel compassionate, if I feel loving kindness, it makes myself feel very good and very, you know, like very positive. You know? But that could also change somebody else's, or some people's kind of about themselves. So therefore, you know, we say that, you know, inner obstacles, you know, resolve into dissolve inside, outer obstacle dissolve outside. So therefore, you know, this is the idea that, you know, when we have problems in the society, in the world, in myself, you know, because like we all have problems, you know, outer problems and inner problems and everything. Then, you know, we need to think like this, I think. You know, now this is a problem. This problem comes from many different causes and conditions and very many elements. So therefore, even if I see that this person is the main person who is giving this problem, but there are, you know, lots of causes and conditions that this person is in this situation at this moment to give me a problem. It's not, you know, that this person is not like, you know, so bad that he's giving me. This person is also, you know, kind of, what can you say, caused by many situations to be in this situation that is causing problem, you know. So therefore, you know, all these things, you know, is because of that. So therefore, I will try to resolve this. I will not use just hatred or just anger or just, you know, negative thoughts, but try to resolve this in such a way that it is good for me and good for the other person. And I will try to do something so that, there is less of these problems now and in the long run. And I will try to survive. Even if I have to be a little bit losing, or it seems to be like I'm the one who is kind of, what can you say, not winner, but loser at this point. It doesn't matter, because in the long run, I will be the winner. So therefore, I will not hold on to too much grudge, too much, hatred, or too much anger, and that then I can feel kind, I can feel loving, I can feel better. So therefore, I have less problem. I don't need to go through lots of, difficulties. Another, like if I fight, if somebody tries to do something not so good to me, and I try to do something not good to that person, then this person will do something not good. It will, like ping pong, no? Hatred begets hatred, love begets love, so negative feelings bring more negative things. So if I understand that, if I can understand that this, if somebody is not nice to me, and then I am not nice to him, but maybe I can be a little bit more nice to him, or do something that is not like harming but helping, it could totally change. And then, there's no usually what we think, that if this person is saying something not so nice, I should say something even a little bit stronger, not nice. Yeah. Then the problem doesn't stop but grow. So therefore, of course, it's not to say that you have to be only like, what can you say? You have to be only, what can you say? You can be only the victim, or, victim is also an attitude, no? If somebody is a little bit trying to overpower you, or go ahead of you, or do something a little foolish to, to step ahead you, or, to a little bit obstruct you, or something like that. And then you said that, well, this person is a little bit, little bit crazy, or not so kind and not so nice, but okay, let her or him go in front of me, and I will just, get something other than that, or something like that. But I don't get the negative effect of that, like getting too much angry, or too much upset, or too much, like that. Then, I could become very stable and sound, and I go without any negative feeling, and, I don't need to feel too bad, and I can be still kind and nice and things like that. And so actually I become the winner. I become the winner, but most of us think I became the loser. And then I think that, this person did this to me, and yesterday also somebody did that to me, and then, I can't be like this all the time, I have to be, and then I go in, and because like this. And then even if, I can go back and I still feel very bad, and I can hold on to this negative feeling sometimes for a long time. And so therefore, if we are able to resolve our negative emotions, that is solution to lots of problems. Yeah. Actually, our true happiness comes from there. If we can understand. Because whether it is like anger and hatred and this kind of things, or too much kind of wanting attachment and things like that, greed, attachment, most people don't understand how bad attachment is. And sometimes I am a little bit afraid to talk about it, because people don't understand. Attachment is a very problematic thing, and it is nothing to do with love. Actually, it's very different, And also, it's not that, to less attachment doesn't mean that you don't care, or attachment is. I think I just said this yesterday, about the cup, So if I am attached to this cup, I am in trouble. I'm creating a problem for myself, because I say, I need this cup, I am attached. It's so nice. I must have this cup. If I don't have this cup, I cannot be happy. That's attachment, no? Kind of. So until I have this cup, I am not happy because, I think I need this cup. I must have this cup. Unless I have this cup, I will be unhappy. And I will be unhappy until I have this cup. So I'm always thinking about this cup and how to get this, and I do all kind of things to get this cup. Once I have this cup, it's not really mine. I can't be totally mine, because what is mine? It's a concept, of course, I can keep it. I can take it wherever I want, but, you can't totally own it in a way, especially if it is a person. You can't totally own it, no? How can you own it? Because this person is another person, it says. So therefore, and then it has to do, or it is a person, especially he or she has to do exactly what I want, and that's impossible. No, because it's mine. Now, even this cup, like if I have, now I have it, but now I have to keep it, I have to keep it. And how do I keep it? All the time. I cannot carry it all the time, So if it is something very valuable, then everybody wants it, so they will take it. So I have to be always worried about, where's my cup? What happened to my cup? I'm going to India, but then, who's taking care of my cup? I can't trust her, of course. She's very bad. I can't trust him. I can't trust him. Maybe I can trust a little bit, but how much can I trust? And then, I'm always worried, what happened to my cup? It's there, After some time, then she would not listen, she would not answer my phone because, he's crazy about his cup. How many times I can say that it's okay? I can have nightmares about my cup being, broken or something like that. Yeah. And then if it is lost, then I have lots of problems, My nice cup, I had this nice cup and now I don't have that. Yeah. So it's even before I get it, I have problem. After I have it, I have problem. After I lose it, I have problem. Isn't that? So therefore, of course, if I love this cup, I use this cup, and then I let whoever has this cup, and if I don't get it again, it's okay. They will give me another cup, uh, because I think they will give me a nice cup because it's there, it's there. Giving me a nice cup is not only for me, it's for them, because, they have to show that we are not that bad, we give our guest a nice cup. Yeah. So, so I have a nice cup. Wherever I go, I have a nice cup because, they don't want to get a bad image of, uh, those who are treating their guests with a bad cup. So therefore, I don't have to worry about my cup because every time, maybe I have a nice new cup, but, it doesn't have to be. So therefore, if I'm not so attached, I can love, I can love this cup, I have loved those people, I've loved everybody, and then I can be very nice and kind and, and they are free. I'm not trying to hold on to them. I'm not trying to control them. So therefore, they're free, but I love them, they love me, and we can have very good relationships as long as you are not attached. We can't have bad relationship. That relationship only comes with attachment. Yeah. So therefore, why do we do this? Too much attachment. Same with all the other things, whether it's envy, jealousy, anger, hatred, all these negative feelings is really based on a wrong view. And neither good for me nor good for anybody. Neither good now nor good in the long run. So why do we do that? So therefore, if we really understand this, then it's not so difficult to change this way of thinking, the way of reacting. Of course, we have lots of habitual tendencies, and these habitual tendencies don't change easily, but it can change. It can change because it's just a way of saying. So therefore, if we can really transform our way of reacting, our emotions, and way of saying things, then, so much of our problems solved, and we become much, much happier and joyful, and also fearless. Because, Of course, we know, if you have a little bit right way of saying things, we know that everything changes. We know that I change. We know that I will also die, and everything changes. So why not? So I will be prepared to die. So if I'm prepared to die, I wouldn't worry so much for that. If I'm not so much worried for that, then I can live in a happy way, If tomorrow I die, I die. So why should I be unhappy today? Isn't it? So I can be happy today and tomorrow, whenever, because nobody knows exactly when and how I will die. Of course, I will be sick one day also, but who knows when? Maybe not till I am 90, maybe early, maybe just tomorrow, maybe tonight, who knows? So what's there to, is useless, it's worthless, it's completely senseless to worry too much, because it's like that. So therefore, when we have this understanding, then, of course, there will be problems in the world. Maybe the world will end tomorrow. Who knows? Most likely it will not. But, if it has to, then it has to. So, that doesn't mean that I can't be happy today. Yeah. So understanding and trying to, try to see things in a little clearly is very, very important. That doesn't mean that, for that, then I need to, I need to try to learn. I need to try to listen to, study and listen to wise people. And I need to, try to transform myself. And it is possible to transform myself. It's possible to change my way of seeing and my way of being and my way of reacting, so that's how, then that doesn't mean that I will have no problem at all, I will still have all the problems that everybody has, but the way I react to that could be different a little bit, if I have a headache, I will have a headache like anybody else. But I wouldn't have the kind of emotional problem of having a headache, and sometimes they said that if you are really good at it, then you don't have even a headache and even if you have physical pain, but that I think is a little bit far away. It needs lots of practice, yeah. But if you practice very good, it can happen. Because people have managed to totally disappear their rainbow body, like their body completely dissolve into light. So that, if you can do that, then you can do anything. There are possibilities, but, maybe I will not get there. Maybe some of you can, who knows, you cannot know who is an enlightened person. It is possible there are some really highly enlightened person, yeah. Who knows? There could be very great bodhisattvas also among us. Who knows? There could be emanations of great beings among us. Who knows? it is better to think that most probably they are, than to think that it is definite they are not. You know, because if you feel that they could be positive people and great people, and you know, then most probably they are. Loten like that, you know, he could be a great bodhisattva. You know, because you know, from I know him for like at least 40 years, 30 years, you know, and he's always roaming around, going everywhere, you know, trying to make people laugh, entertaining them, singing songs, and you know, encouraging people to do something good, making people aware of the, you know, the situations, negative situations anywhere, including Tibet and things like that. And he's been doing this all the time, as long as I know him. And then wherever there's some great Lama coming, or some conference or things like that, he's there. And he's singing, he's dancing, he's, you know, he never kind of seems to become weaker or aging or something like that. Every new year he makes a new performance, you know, what is it called, the in Tibetan there's Deka, you know. In Tibet there is a something called Deka. You know? It's a kind of a yoga, you know? And especially on the New Year's, they perform. They have this kind of a mask, a small mask, a stick, and then you know, then sometimes a big ball. Then you know, you kind of sing and make jokes in between and things like that, and make everybody happy. He does that nowadays on internet. Anyway, so I think I talked too much. Any questions?
Thank you a lot for your teaching. So you have mentioned about how you view yourself. So, but sometimes I feel maybe I could hate myself, or I feel very disappointed about myself. But actually, when I feel disappointed, normally it's because of some good wishing. So I wish I could have done it good or better. So why this good wishing can bring some negative thinking, and how we overcome the self-disappointed? Thank you.
That's because of your expectation. Yeah, I think, you know, you expect yourself to be very, you know, very good and very perfect and very successful, and you know, doing something very. And then you know, when you see, or it happens that it was not that exactly, then you feel, you know, you feel bad, you know. Usually, generally, I think it's a good thing. You know, it's a good thing because, you know, you want to do something good, and you want to, you know, you want the best result and things like that. But sometimes too much of that then makes you very unhappy, you know, because however good you are, you know, you can't be totally perfect. So therefore, and also how much good you did, or is difficult to say. Others, what you did, or how you are, and how other people perceive you, how you did, and things like that is very different. Sometimes you could have done something very well, but somebody doesn't see that much, and then they say you didn't do that well. Or even sometimes somebody sees you that you did very well, and they don't like it, so they say you did much worse. It's all sort of things. So therefore, you have to learn to, accept what, how things are. And if I don't succeed, or if I don't seem to be doing, the best result, sometimes it's okay. It's okay, because so you don't need to. You can hit a little bit here and there, but not too hard. And it's okay. You have to be okay. You don't have to be the best, or considered to be the best all the time, because if you have that attitude, then you will be more hurt, I think. And in the life, you will not always be the first, and so then you will feel bad. So I think it's okay if you are the first. It's okay you are second. It's okay you are third. If you are the last one, maybe then you have to make a little more effort. But this is something. How other people think and other people do and things like that. Sometimes it reflects your level or your achievement, but sometimes it doesn't. Because people are sometimes cannot judge that well, or do not want to judge that well, So it's you can't say. This.
We have a question also from internet.
Okay.
Kamanobu.
Hello, Kamanobu. How are you?
Thank you. Then I must say I'm very happy to see you looking so well and healthy, and you seem to look younger all the time. I don't know how you do that.
You didn't see my old photos.
We've been following your teachings on Bodhisattva Avatara, and you look younger now than you did when you did those, I think. But anyway.
That time I was locked up in second. For 2 years, I even did not go out. I gained almost 10 kilos.
I have a question about or wrathful compassion, or sometimes we have to act decisively in a very decisive and maybe wrathful way to prevent further harm or for the greater good. I mean, we had, of course, in the 20th century, we had the Second World War, and appeasement didn't work, and so action had to be taken. And of course, there's the Jataka tale of the sea captain, and I just wondered, these actions are not prompted by anger, but they're prompted by compassion, but they are very decisive and wrathful. And I just wonder how we can really judge our actions when we're in that situation.
Well, it's not about judging, we can never judge because we don't know what the intention or, the real motivation is, yeah. We can only look at our own motivation. And then, that also we have to be careful because we can be not so honest all the time, we say that, oh, I did it just for the, with kindness, with compassion, in order to, I was, using my wrathful compassion, but actually maybe you didn't that much compassion, more wrathful, so you never know. So it's just that you have to be more honest and with yourself. And then, of course, the whole point is that if you really, want for the benefit of many and for long term and things like that, then even if you have to do something that seems like negative, then from the Bodhisattva's point of view, then it's not so bad because you will get the result of it, negative result, but then you are ready to take on that negative result. No, that's the idea.
Thank you.
Rinpoche,
Yes.
actually, I have two questions. I try to put them into one.
Okay.
I live with a very traumatized person, and it's like there are situations like, for instance, we have some problems with each other, and my usual, it's like, okay, I need to calm down and to retreat for some minutes, for instance. But for them, it's very difficult and sometimes even impossible to do so. So I get totally overwhelmed by all what's going on. And I try to deal with it. I have no solution for that. And for them, they say, it's okay, I'm working on it so it will improve, but at the moment it doesn't work out. How to go through the situation without being able to retreat from it, so to get calm myself. That's the one question. And the other is, I got advice, you should, in German we say, dich besser abgrenzen, like set boundaries, but even more to distance. But it doesn't work, and even it feels wrong for me. It would not be the solution for it. Because, yeah, indeed we are one, we are all one, Wir sind alle verbunden. Ich krieg's gerade auf. We are connected, yes, and to distance is like the opposite of it.
Yes. Yes, there are problems like that. Sometimes there are problems that if you do something, that's also not right. If you don't do also, it's not right, and things like that. And there's problems like that. Then you have to decide if that's the situation you have to accept. You like to accept. If you are in a situation that you cannot do anything but accept it, then you have to accept it, and then let it be, and whatever happens, just I have to let it go from here to here, and just be yourself, to do whatever you you can, and whatever they want to, you can do. So, there, it is not that every situation you can make it better, sometimes we can make it better, and then it's very good. Sometimes the situations you cannot make it better. Then if you cannot avoid that, then you have to accept that, and learn to live with that problem. Sometimes if you really learn to live with that problem, then it sometimes becomes less of a problem. Yeah, because people can get used to some things. If you want to do it, if you have to get like that. Because the way, how the problem is, sometimes it is also true that, you see it's a big problem, but actually maybe it's not a problem, but you see it's a problem also. Yeah. It's also like that sometimes. Yeah. So, you have to understand, try to see things, and then try to. So, yeah, it's like that. We are living in samsara. And there are lots of problems there. There are all sorts of outer problems, inner problems, and difficult things, one after another. That's part of it. And to understand that is also, I think, important. That there is problem, there is suffering, there is difficulties. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has their own problems, and this, to really understand that, also sometimes becomes a little bit of a solution. Yeah.
Thanks, Rinpoche. I had a question, or when you were talking about view and philosophy, actually, philos is the love, and the Sophia is the wisdom. So how wisdom and love are connected, and then how sometimes also the tukje, the love, comes from the wisdom of the union of emptiness and awareness or clarity. Thank you.
Good. Yes. There are lots of things like it, lots of words which original meaning is very different from what is currently things like that. It's yeah, philosophy seems to be a very wonderful word. But there are lots of words like that, which, and sometimes some translators use it, and then, but then it, many people have difficulties because usually they don't see it like that. Each word has its different. Meaning of a different word can also change according to time, and it can be used in many different ways also. So, yeah, it is like that. Usually they say, I heard once one philosopher saying that a word is a symbol, it's a sound symbol. So the word itself doesn't have any meaning. We give meaning to them. So we can give whatever meaning if you want, and sometimes change it, and sometimes another way, and sometimes another way. There are lots of words which one term in one like discipline, like one word in science, the same word in philosophy, or same word in some other subject is different, yeah? And things like that, yeah. Yes, why not?
Some, you can turn on your camera.
Hello. Hello.
Me, is it my turn to speak?
Yeah,
May I ask a question?
yes, please.
Okay, yeah. Actually, my question also is related with the previous question about philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, well, in my judgment or in my knowledge, the difference between the ways of thinking in East and West are that, like in the East, philosophy, psychology, ethics are all mixed, like in Buddhism. But in the West, as far as I know, they are separate. And actually, that is happening to me as well. When I study Buddhism, I tend to learn it intellectually. I try to practice Buddhism myself, but I think I attach to the knowledge of Buddhism. And sometimes I forget to be compassionate. And because of this, I tend to judge people based on what I learned from Buddhism. So could you give me any advice, how not to judge based on what I learned from Buddhism?
You are. It's true. Different, different cultures have different, little bit different ways of understanding things. Actually, culture is very much to do with that. I think how you think and how you, and also different words or different concepts, and are a little bit different in a certain way. And communication, actually, the main thing is the communication. And so, our communication is through the culture, not through that level. So therefore, it's very different. It's different. It can be different not only East and West, but also even within the West, it could be very different also, the way Germans do and way French do are totally two different things, Yeah, it's very, I never thought it would be that different. But sometimes I had to find out it is like that different. So it's like that. So therefore, judgment, I think there's two things there. One thing is, the first thing is that is there. But if you go just, the culture is, I think, like the skin, at the surface. And I think that's very thin, Once you go below that, at the level of emotion and at the level of, the human experience, I think there is not much difference, Everybody wants to be loved and respected and, wants to be happy and all kind of things. I mean, there, I don't see too much difference, whether it's from the East or the West or the, North or South. There's not so much difference. So therefore, that's why, if we communicate through the heart, we can communicate. you know, much more easily. If you communicate through the head, it's more difficult to communicate, because that's where we use lots of, you know, culture and intellectual things like that. Judgment, you know, there are two things, I think. One is like to really try to see things clearly. That kind of judgment is necessary. You know, we need to understand. We need to really know. We need to try to, you know, see what was going on and, you know, how people are saying and things like that. So it's not like completely unjudgmental that, you know, you don't know what people are thinking and why people are doing things. And then it's, I think it's not, you know, then it's stupid. You know? But judgment like, you know, it's good or it's bad, then it's, you can't say, it's very delicate, because, you know, people do things, you know, with their own way of, you know, understanding and thinking. And so we can't say this is totally bad, but this is totally good, you know. So so we need to understand the person. We need to understand everybody, like, you know, people are like that, you know, we all want happiness, we all want good things, we all want no problems and difficulties and things like that. So we need to have that understanding. So if we have that understanding as the basis, then, you know, we can still have compassion and kindness to anybody. So this is, I think, important. Yeah. I think, yeah, okay.
It's about the perception. Like I remember you once said that you can judge the quality of the practice in one's daily life behavior, somehow you could say, no? In daily life active. So I realized that after some time, I'm very not impressed of when whatever people does practice or something, or I do whatever I does practice, because if I see somehow arguing and fighting and all those things, then for me, it always reminds me that the level of practice we have is very low, because I see just how emotional everybody of us, including me, becomes. And sometimes this becomes a little bit, I got a little bit frustrating in the trust of that what we wishes to accomplish somehow. So on one hand, it helps me a little bit to kind of not lift up and think, oh, what great practice I have done. On the other hand, it's completely opposite what you just briefly said. You said you can never know what other people accomplished, and there might be Buddhas and Bodhisattvas amongst us. So if I really look like the way my judging, then I think I'm very sure, like I see everybody, we are on a very low level. On the other hand, you said, so what to do, what's going wrong, or what should be changed somehow?
I think like this. I think we are all samsaric beings. Maybe our practice is helping a little bit, is doing okay, is better than nothing, but we are all all samsaric beings. This is very, very important to understand. So we all have our emotions, we all have our ego, we all have our, we can get upset, we can get angry, we can get, me too, and you too, and everybody, So, so it's it's okay to have some argument, you know. Especially, I mean, argument is not necessarily a bad idea, because, you know, I have to be able to express what I think, you know. So especially if I have some responsibilities, then I have to say what I think is good or bad or important or not important. No, so that you have to argue. That's you know, you have to give all the you know, plus points and negative, you know, minus points and things like that. That is, I think, okay. But when after you have argued and you have had arguments, you have discussions, you have things like that, then you just give up, and then you become, you know, you are friends, you are brothers and sisters. Yeah. So if we can do that, then however much you argue and actually even hit each other a little bit in your height, it's okay. I think it is like that, you know. It's afterwards, you know, that you don't keep it, you don't hold it to that, you know, like, so, you know, when we live in a kind of a democratic system, and it can't be totally democracy, but, you know, we are in a democratic system. So therefore, we decide things on in a democratic way, no? So you know, you have to argue, you have to you know, give your ideas, and then you have to decide, you know, in a group, and then the majority decision most of the time should prevail, you know. It's not 100% guaranteed that democracy, the majority idea is the correct one. No, it's not at all. Actually, majority is not the wise, you know. Majority is the not wise. But if you have to choose, we have to choose the majority, because that's the most people want that way. So we have to say, okay, because, you know, most people want it. So then, yeah, if I don't agree, so what? Yeah, you have to take it. So that's the democracy, no? It doesn't mean that the democracy, the majority is always 100% right. It's not, many times they're wrong, yeah. But still, you know, it's better than one or two people judge and make the decisions all the time. Yeah? So therefore, you know, then after that, then you, after you finish arguing, then you say, I've done my best to argue, to present my views and things like that, and then it's okay, you know. I think that way, then you can, you know, you don't lose kind of respect to each other, to kind of trust to each other a little bit, because everybody is different, you know, everybody is different, everybody has different character. Some are like this, some are like that, you know, some has very high, headstrong things, some are very, what can you say, pushy, some are, you know, easily, you know, easily, you know, excited, you know, easily upset. So all different kind of people are there. And that is the beauty of it, you know. So working in this kind of condition is a great practice, I think. I think it is more great practice than doing months of retreat. Really, I really think so, you know, because what is practice? You know, in Buddhism, practice is to work on your mind, on your emotion, on your, you know, experience. And being in a very nice place and nobody there to disturb you, and sitting nicely in, you know, in a room for like a few months, it's not a big challenge. I didn't get so upset and angry because I was sitting there, nothing happening, and somebody is cooking for me, and it's nothing that much. But if you have to argue with uh, 5 headstrong people, who have their very strong ideas and a little bit, always like this, then that's the real practice. If you can survive that, that means your practice is really good. Yeah, maybe you didn't know how to judge your practice. If you can survive and live with this kind of people together and argue for years and years, but still you are still okay, that means your practice has been really good. Not just good, but excellent. I think like that. Okay, then thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, maybe 10 minutes before.
Wenn die alle eher kommen, 10 Minuten eher, die Zuflucht nehmen wollen, when they all come earlier, 10 minutes earlier, for the those who take the meeting.
So give me the names.
I
Yeah.
have them here.
Okay then. Okay then. Is it okay? 10 minutes before? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Sunamdi tamje zebani, Tony Nyepe, Talam Pajete, Shegan Nanchi, Walam Ju, Sebe, Solin do.